this is, who's to say where it's all going? I was elected the president of the shareholders committee and for the last year and a half, and I have been going down there twice a year for a couple of weeks each time.
Usually during the winter, right?
During, not necessarily, no. We just, my wife and I just came back last week. We were there for 2 weeks, and probably go again in October. We have a resident manager who's the son of one of the shareholders who is in charge of it, and we have other projects in mind. We have quite a bit of property, in fact, that's off the water behind. So the first thing we're doing, our second phase, is to build a residence for the manager. Residence come office. Currently we're using one of the rooms. One of the 10 rooms is a residence come office. But now that our demand for our space is increasing, that room needs to be put back into the basket.
Earn some money, sure.
Yeah. So, and that project will be finished probably by the 1st of May. It's underway now. And the third phase is the one which is really the more interesting one for us in terms of where we expect to make a lot of money, and that we have room at the back to put in 6 condos. And that's with lots of room each. There's about half an acre, 3/4 of an acre at the back. And there are all kinds of schemes, and I don't fully understand them all, and nor do I understand the market, but we have 1 or 2 of our shareholders are more knowledgeable about that than I am. And there's this concept of what's called fractionalization. It's not a timeshare. It is and it isn't a timeshare. Basically, what happens is that we sell a house or a condo on the property, and the individual owns the house, but does not own the land under it. And they have the right to inhabit that condo for 3 or 4 months a year, and then for the remainder of the year, it comes back into the pot of the hotel, and we then let it to those holidayers who are coming down. And the owner of the house and ourselves share the revenue. And it seems to have worked in other parts of the Caribbean and indeed on Roatan itself. So that's our plan. That won't be really underway until 2009, though, until we really have our plans, financial and architectural, really very solidly in place. None of us are wealthy. We're all done various things in our lives, but we did have enough money to put enough into the pot to do this. So it's been great fun. It's a challenge, of course, to work in a jurisdiction other than your own. Challenge in the sense that you have to, although I lived, as you're probably aware, a lot of my life in Latin America, 17 years. I lived in various parts of Latin America. I never really had to do any business, any signing contracts other than obviously leasing properties for the government of Canada. But when you get involved in a private investment, there are a number of little issues that arise from time to time. That's all been great fun, demanding to, in a sense, of one's patience, because things do take their time. The mills of bureaucracy grind slow, and they sometimes grind low in Latin America. So you have to have patience, have a good solicitor. You're never sure if you're having a good solicitor until it's all over, of course. So you always take a chance. We've been fortunate that we have one who's efficient and honest. The combinations are necessary. We're delighted with it so far. In terms of any of our listeners or watchers who are scuba divers or snorkelers or would like a vacation that's a little different, I would recommend that they go to the website, that they take a look at it. I think certainly our prices are competitive. We describe ourselves as an upmarket bed and breakfast, meaning the constructions are well done, they are spacious, and it is very private and very quiet. Now, we don't, as I said, do lunch and dinners, but around the corner there's a stretch of a beach at West End. The name of the town we're in is West End, which other perhaps 20 restaurants there, but 10, 15 minutes on foot, which it is convenient for them to have us send our guests to them and vice versa. So there's a positive relationship with these restaurants along the beach, and a whole variety of restaurants. There's an Argentine grill, there's an Ottawa chap who runs an Indian restaurant, Mexican, Italian, of course, fresh fish. You get your fish from the fisherman at 6 in the morning, and then you go it yourself if you wish, or the restaurants use it. So it's a very interesting place. It's, of course, totally different than if you were to go to, say, Key Biscayne or the west coast of Florida, where everything is very North American, it's all very clean and posh. This is a little more of an adventure.
Sounds terrific to me, David. I mean, if you're in Ottawa during the winter, to go down there, say, for a week, do some snorkeling, if you're not a trained diver. As a retirement activity, I think that's terrific. I think if it was me, I would end up going down there for a few weeks and being a hotelier, sitting there occasionally behind the bar, drinks for the guests, soaking in that good weather during the winter. I think it's a great.
Well, that's exactly what I do, and what some of the other shareholders do. We use it as a business, but we also go there to enjoy ourselves, and we all pitch in when we're there, even though we're not the manager. We all pitch in and stand behind the bar. We have music between 5:30 and 7 when the sun's going down, and everybody joins in. We can have a maximum of currently 18, but shortly 20 guests, and most of them will come down for a sundowner and sit around and chat. Our guests tend to be, I suppose, 20 to 45 years of age.
Nobody older than that.
Well, we do have people older than that, but since the principal reason why people go to Roatan is to scuba dive, I would say, again, 90% of our guests are scuba divers, and there are 5 or 6 excellent dive shops within 10-minute walk of where we are. We don't compete, but we have some links with a couple of them where we share information and we trade guests and customers back and forth. We have no intention of competing with them. Scuba diving, of course, has become an increasingly popular sport. It's certainly possible for people in their 60s like ourselves to scuba dive. It is not, it initially demands some concentration and some training, and you get a certificate, a PADI certificate, gives you a right to dive freely without supervision, although everybody dives with what they call a buddy, in case things
You can do snorkeling, though, right?
Snorkeling is excellent. I'm a snorkeler myself. My wife is a scuba diver. I'm not. I suppose I could become one, but I've chosen not to. There's no particular reason.
Would it still be enjoyable as
Oh, absolutely. And the reef is superb. And it's one of those places which are a little off the beaten track. If people are looking for a different kind of holiday, although with all of the full North American or European amenities, certainly our little place, Coco Lobo, provides all of those.
That sounds terrific. Let's give them your website again, David.
Right. It's www.cocolobo.com. Everything is there. Please make use of it.
Sounds pretty good during the Ottawa winter. Thanks, David.
Thank you. That's probably about 15 minutes, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds pretty good for the Ottawa winter.
When you, this film can be used again, can't it? You can go right over top of it. It's a digital camera, so I mean, you put that on the web and then you can reuse this, or how does it?
Well, this camera is got a hard disk, so
right.
I just so far I just leave it on the hard disk.